today we are going to talk to Janelle.
Yes.
Janelle Thompson, right?
Yes, Janelle Thompson.
Okay, and we're going to talk about religion and faith.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Religion and faith in autism. We briefly touched on it once with Awesome Cuts, the
Okay.
guys who did the
Yeah.
thing on Saturday, but they were just saying like it was difficult and things like that.
Right.
So I can
right.
only imagine.
Yeah.
And so how many kids or why do you care about that?
I care about it because my husband and we pastor a church in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And
Are you allowed to say what you want or no?
Yeah, no, sure, because it's ours. It's House of Triumph Outreach and Worship Center.
Oh, it's your church.
Yes, it's our church.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So and our son is very much involved in it. So that's a big
Yeah.
component
And
for us.
how old is he?
He's 16.
Oh, okay. So my twins are 16.
Yeah.
And he was diagnosed with autism?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
When? Years ago?
Years ago when he was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 5.
Back when the waiting lists weren't a year and a half.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
gosh. And then I also heard, complete segue, you'll notice I do that often.
Okay.
CHOP.
hmm
Stop taking Keystone First.
Really?
They are set to stop taking Keystone First, period.
Wow.
Next month or something like that. So if you guys have Keystone First, keep up with that because CHOP has every specialty there is,
Right.
and you
wow.
will have nothing there.
Wow.
I don't know why. Anyway, so he was diagnosed,
Yes.
and is that your only kid?
We have a older son. He's 29.
Girl.
Yeah. Well, he's my bonus son, so
Oh.
he's not my original.
Holy
Yes,
moly!
he's not my biological.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he also involved in
No,
the church?
he lives down in DC.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
Okay.
he's grown. But when
Yeah.
he does come up to visit, when he used to stay with us in the summer, he
Yeah.
was involved
Okay.
in the church with us. So,
And when so your son was diagnosed,
hmm
and I like to just kind of ask, like, what were the signs that you saw? Because everyone sees different signs.
So I knew nothing about autism.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I would see him line the spoons up,
Uh-huh.
line things up, I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It was like, I was like, oh, look at my baby, look at him. No clue. But then it was someone who I worked with.
Yeah.
Her son
Mm-hmm.
is on the spectrum, and she noticed things. And the thing that kind of made me, question was he had, delays in speech.
Yeah.
But it was primarily when he would have the meltdowns when things would
Mhm.
change. So I'm like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
not typical, so to speak.
Yeah.
I understand terrible twos.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But he's about to go into, kindergarten, first
Yeah.
grade. So then,
And that was your first experience with raising a child from a baby to that.
yeah,
So
Right,
you
yeah.
didn't necessarily know the milestones aside from people
Exactly.
probably pointing it out.
exactly. So because of that, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? He should be talking,
Yeah.
but he's just pointing and
Mhm.
pointing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And my husband and I, what we purposed, we said we're not gonna baby talk to him because you would talk to him. No, that's the door.
Yeah.
Instead of door, you want door? No,
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah.
So that he would be
Mhm.
able to develop words, but he would still.
Uh-huh. Trying to get away with it?
Yeah, I'm like, no. So that kind of was what
Set it.
set it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
were you finding it difficult at that point? He's 11 years ago
hmm
to find services to get him diagnosed.
No, surprisingly, no. I went to because I live in Philly, and that's where we are. So I went to I think it was Einstein Pediatric,
Okay.
and he was that because that's where he was going as
Mhm.
far as pediatrics. So they referred us to. They have a developmental. I think what was she? Developmental psychologist. I don't remember
Yeah.
her specific title, but she was the one. She kind of just observed him and different things, and so she
Gave you the report.
gave
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the services, I'm sure,
Mhm.
Elwin,
yeah.
all that good
Now
stuff.
we were actually he was in a private Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had to take him out and put him in public school because if he stayed in the private school, he wouldn't get the services.
Yeah.
So.
Were they okay with him in the beginning, or was it something that you found like an issue with behaviors?
No, they worked with us. They identified certain behaviors, like, you know, he would, I think a couple of times, one time, they told me like something with the calendar. I think somebody didn't have the day right, and he like took all the dates off, and he was like, kind of like, you people don't get it right, and he just like put everything on there. But it was just even funny because even with that, you could tell like certain things, like he knew the months, the days, the years, and everyone else was like, Monday, and he's like, I'm on 2020, and this is even as a young child.
Yep.
So
you forget that because they're not speaking to you like you expect, that there's the possibility that there's so much info in there, and then it just comes out, and they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Nazir knows all the days of the week. I'm like, well, you know, you know, I kind of like, you know,
that's my baby.
That's my baby. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So he did that, and then public school.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in your life was faith important to you? Your entire life?
Entire life, especially being, you know, getting married and having a family. That's been a strong point for my life. Yeah.
And when did you start that church?
We started it in 2011. So he was born, and we started it in our home. We had Bible study. So he was our little, you know, our deacon. He was setting up the chairs and everything. So he's been involved in it since its inception.
Right.
So, you know, he's a major, and something even before we started it, we were in a ministry, and, you know, we were leaders, but it wasn't our church. And so that, I think that kind of was the catalyst for me once I learned, okay, you know, my son is on the spectrum, we're leaders, you know, we now have a church, because I would get frustrated because he would cry, and I'm like, dude, you just ate, why are you crying? You know, so, and I'm nursing, so I'm like walking out, so it was just like really frustrating for me because I didn't know. And, you know, of course it was, I'm thinking, okay, first time mom, and just I was thinking other things, but then I'm like, okay, well, added onto that, I didn't know. So when you know, we started the church, we don't have anything particular to say, like, okay, this is the, you know, the autism division or anything like that, but we're sensitive, and, you know, we understand, and actually one of our young men, he's been recently diagnosed.
Oh wow. One of the members?
Yes, one of the members. He's a young boy, but it's because of us being so vocal.
Yeah. Right.
That they're, you know, we're like, okay, you know what, let's
without being you have to, because you want to point these things out because you have your own experience.
Exactly.
I'm sure because of it, Philly Autism page where I met you at. You find relationships with other people who have those experiences too. Yeah. So it's a very different thing for everybody. And I found a lot of churches were very difficult to bring your child to if they were autistic or had special needs. I've worked with clients before prior to this in church, like we would go to church, and personally it felt like certain like cultures were much less patient and accepting of autism, period. And then there was others that welcomed it, kinda. Right. They welcome it until there is some type of behavior or outburst or inattention. And then I've heard of maybe one that's kind of like, bring them all. So is that what you're aiming for? Was it the mission first, and then did the inclusion come later? Because he was only 3, right, when you started it? If he was...
I don't know. I think I know that we're a part of a fellowship, and it's just different small churches that come together to kind of support each other. And one time, and this is of course before I knew, he he was being, you know, jumpity, fidgety himself, right? He was being a child, like so, you know, and I think I know where you're going with the culture. Some cultures, oh, you need to spank him. I'm like, like, first of all, he's a child. But that right there was kind of just like, okay, you know what? Thinking back on certain things, it's like, okay, that was probably because of him sensitive to the sounds. Yeah. So there was
smells in church.
Even smells
like
in church.
Like a Catholic church.
The
it's
incense.
Been a while, but the incense and the thing that they shake.
And even sometimes the perfume that different ladies wear. Yes. Because that's a trigger actually, you know, for my mother-in-law. She has seizures. Oh God. And so sometimes the sounds and the smells that triggers a seizure for her. So I can imagine, you know, for him, but like now not so much, but when he was younger, couldn't go anywhere without his ears. So I think for us, we didn't set out saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do. It kind of just was organic because he was a part of the, you know, the ministry part of church. Even with in our fellowship, people, because we were so open about Nazir, and it's like one of those things like you're always gonna see him, and just them seeing how we are with him, it kind of relaxed them a little, so to speak. So they and they've known him all his life, so they would ask questions. He makes these we call them the paper people. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I've heard there's many people that make paper people. We've got a few.
And I mean, and I'll show you pictures. Like they've evolved, and it's like a whole thing.
Does he still do it?
He still does it. Like so, it's like now he has like a sports team.
Oh my gosh.
He had so.
How big are they?
Well, before they used to be like this. Now they're actually getting bigger. And my husband was like, he's like, as he's growing, they're growing. Up. I'm like. I didn't think about it. Yeah.
I would never think of that.
Me either.
Nope.
So whenever we would go to church or different things, he would always have the paper people with them, and they would sit on the chair. So, oh, it's funny. But people, they would see that, and they're like, oh, is it okay? And they're learning. Is it okay if I ask about who's that? So it's actually an opportunity that he talks. Like, ask him about paper. Oh, this is such and such. Any other time, he's so like, excited.
Yeah.
So I think for us, it's just the organicness, if that's a word.
Yeah, because I use it all the time.
Yes.
With Gators and my school. I don't like to. People will take out like really expensive ads or really push marketing and spend thousands and thousands. But for me, it's just like organic is the best way to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you kind of see it happening as opposed to it just sweeping you up.
Right.
And before you know it, you're overwhelmed and your mission wasn't even successful because you put way too much on yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the paper people got me.
The paper people. And it's so funny because
I like them.
Because what we do, like you'll hear, you know, throughout the house, paper people everywhere. Because they're like everywhere. Like, you know, I think one time I like rolled over in bed and I was like, why is there a paper person on my pillow? But we understand that's.
Do they have features?
They do.
Oh, we draw faces on them and stuff?
Do I have a, no, my phone is over there, but I'll show you a picture. They're like, he even makes backpacks. Some of them, you know, go to, like he has some that go to school with him. You know, they stay in like a blue pouch, you know, and then when it's time to go, they're on the ride home and, you know, he takes them out and listen. Yeah, they're like, that's like so his world.
Because that's easy for him to like carry.
Yeah.
He can carry that with him.
Oh yeah.
And it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
My guys, 16. My guys they're plushies.
He's got the plushies too.
Does he?
He has every sports team, every football. Sports. Yeah. He loves football. He likes all sports, but definitely football and of course wrestling. But we had to get him every pillow pet. Except for like maybe, you know, there's especially one team we will not get in
DC?
No. Oh yes. I had to think. I was thinking of yes. So that one but everyone else, every other team we just about have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like when that's like Has he ever showed interest in playing football, or does he just like watching it?
He did in the beginning, but I don't know what changed. But then he was just like, no, I think
not for me.
Yeah, he'll commentate. That's what he's really know liking, and we're trying to encourage him in that. And
that would be funny if it was not funny but cool, like a stream kind of thing.
That's what
game's on, just commentate.
That's what That's what he's trying to build up.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's what we're encouraging him. I'm like, all right, Nazir, what do you need? What do you need?
Even like kids who watch football, they might like to watch the commentating. Yeah. Even what did they have on the Super Bowl? Disney Channel?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like it wouldn't be anything different. They're already doing it.
Yeah. So that's something that he has, expressed interest in doing. And he even, like, when he watches the highlights, what he used to do when he was younger, he would take the phone and he would record, highlights, and he would just, watch them again. But something that he's doing now, he'll commentate or comment on what he's watching.
It's so many different things. They just pop out.
I know.
So now, tell me about the purpose, your religion, not necessarily what your religion is, although please do. As much as you're comfortable sharing about what you do, because that's cool, like your own type of service and all that good stuff. Because I grew up and I went to a Presbyterian. Okay. I went to a Presbyterian church for up until like maybe 10th grade or so. And then I fell from the Lord. I didn't fall from, but I stopped going to church.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, it is just still a struggle for me to believe sometimes, but because my background is, I was baptized Catholic, so I need my sacraments, but I did go to Presbyterian church, so it's like all the commonalities in that religion. Yeah. There's many things that I believe in, and it's not that I ever dismiss it in general, it's just like sometimes my brain goes too literal. Right. And it's very hard for like my boys, like the twins. Yeah. They're autistic, so it's like I used to read them the children's Bible, like that beginner's Bible with the pictures. And I found that some of the stories, even though they were stories, were a little bit aversive, maybe. Okay. Because of the message in them. Right. But I'm interested in that for sure, because that's just something that many people are interested about, and a lot of people won't talk about for some reason. Yeah.
So I am a Christian. Jesus is my Lord. Love him. Yes. Serve, devoted. For us, so our ministry is very outreach based. So we're are you familiar with Kensington?
Sure am.
That's where we are in Kensington.
Is that where your church is?
That's where our church is.
Where in Kensington?
We are at Ontario and Kensington. So we're like right down the street from KNA. Yeah.
You are in the heart.
We are in the heart. And
purposely?
Yes and no. Okay. So like we were looking around, for churches, and we don't want a church here. One person, yes, come, we want you here. We were like, oh, yay. Yeah. Knew nothing about Kensington. Yeah. Nothing until, of course, once we signed the lease, then we seen Kensington on the news, and we're like, yeah. But we always share that it was God who placed us there because he kept us there. I mean, we've been the consistent as it's been changing around us. Yeah. We've been the consistent, and what we do is, of course, we have our Sunday service, but we provide meals. We do dinner on Tuesdays. Okay. And it's like a home cooked meal. We just, give it out anyone who wants it.
Are you cooking it ahead of time, or is it like a kitchen?
We're cooking ahead of time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we have, people who donate. They either cook the meals and then we just dish it up right there. Okay. But it's
that's awesome.
And we love it, and our son, he's involved. It's been like before the pandemic, we would have people come in and they could sit down, because what we noticed is when people came into our church, they were like, oh my gosh, wow, this is in Kensington, just because it was and it's not like a grand elaborate, but we made it comfortable. They feel peace. So when the pandemic came, we were like, what are we gonna do? Because they did the mandates, nobody can go and So my husband was like, well, we're gonna do what we, have done before. And I'm looking like, I'm like, what is that? He was like, well, you know how when people say they don't want to stay, they just want to take it to go? He was like, they're just gonna take them to go. And I was like, he said, get containers. He was like, we'll put them in and we'll just give them out. He was like, we'll do our safety barrier.
Yep.
And that, what we realized, we were the only ministry within that area that was still open. So we usually would feed like 40 people. We fed close to like 100 people during that time because we were the only ones that still were open.
Right.
And like in the beginning, I didn't realize. I was like, babe, why are we running out of food so fast? He was like, because more people are coming.
Yep.
So my son, he was helpful. Like there was one time we had like 2 cookie trays donated. I said, all right, babe, put your gloves on and put your mask on. And he, he had the gloves on and he was putting the cookie in the bag.
And giving it out.
And one of the things that was just he's so sweet, that like a couple of the cookies got crumbled, like, broken. And I was like, I said, nothing's wrong. What are you doing with those cookies? He said, I don't want to give those out. I was like, they didn't fall, did they? He said, no. He was like, I don't want somebody to have a broken cookie because I wouldn't. I was like,
you want to cry.
I was like, wow.
And that's all he cares. He don't see anything. He doesn't. It's exactly. Ignorance is bliss when those situations occur.
So but he's just such a great part of the ministry, and we always make sure that we include him.
Are you still in Kensington?
We are still in
Kensington.
And
you're there Tuesday and Sunday?
We're there Tuesday, Sunday, definitely, and then once a month, every third Saturday, depending on the weather, we give out clothes.
Oh wow! Are you registered as a nonprofit? No, you're a church.
Well, yeah, we're a nonprofit, yeah.
Okay, so you're able to do you get that all through people donating?
Yeah, people donate.
Do you really?
Like, so other ministries that we're a part of, people that we know, cook and donate clothes. Yeah.
How do we get clothes to you?
Just call me, and either I pick them up or you can drop them off. And it's so funny because like the porch at our house,
oh gosh,
it's like I told my husband one time, I was like, babe, he's like, don't worry, babe, you'll get your porch back.
There's behind every woman like me and you, there's a husband who's like, oh man, what is she doing? They love it, I'm sure, but I think at times it's like you lose something. You're like, I gotta help these people. Especially
we're both like that, so we're just like, what? So there was one time he was like, babe, look, the porch. I was like, I know. And then like 2 days later, someone that we know, they moved and they had, so I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh. There's a website that I have grabbed things off of to just give.
Yeah.
It's meant to just give, and it's for nonprofits. You would register on there.
Okay.
And they have clothes and clothes and clothes and socks, and that's what that website is for.
Oh wow.
So like toothbrushes.
Yeah.
I just got 144 toothbrushes because I was going to use them in here for when they do the dental month.
Yeah.
I think it's in February. But it was like $20.
Wow.
So it's like those types of things that you could just set out and people pick up.
Oh yeah, that's
dirt cheap.
We've done that. We've even received donations of like cosmetic kits. So many different
socks
things.
And stuff.
We've done something called Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh.
And what we did, people would donate socks, hand warmers, hats, gloves, scarves, because when it's cold out, they're still out there. Lighting the fire in a trash can in an abandoned building. Yeah. So we're like, okay, you know what? This is something that we can at least give out, and it's come in handy. Now it wasn't cold for whatever reason last winter too much. So
it really wasn't.
But we still have everything ready for whenever it gets cold again.
Now, do you have people, because are you now like a part of that community? People know?
Oh yeah, people know.
Yeah.
Yeah, people know, and we, because we've been there so long, there are certain people who I don't like to call them regulars, but they've been there for a while. Then there are some I'm like, oh wow, I wonder what happened to this person. I wonder, and there are a few people, you know, thankfully, who have cleaned up, who've gone, you know, gotten themselves together, and they've come back and they've showed us.
Oh, yeah, that's nice to see.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's so encouraging. They're like, remember when I told you that I was going?
Yeah.
They're like, look at me. I'm like, wow.
They have a bunch of like, there's a couple places down there and there's a lot of people. It's a shame. But I belong to, it's called like Found in Kensington. Okay. And it's just a Facebook group. And it just is, you know, so-and-so is in Kensington, find them.
Yeah,
so-and-so.
Yeah, so we've received phone calls and emails from people. Asking if we've seen, you know, their daughter. There's someone has traveled up from another state, Baltimore.
Oh Lord, yes.
Yeah, even with flyers, and it's tough sometimes because, you know, we see so many different people, but the thing that makes it tough is the picture that they show us is what they looked like before. So it's like you're kind of just like and then even the name that they tell us, that's not the name that they give us.
Right. You probably get like a nickname. Or
Yeah. Because I remember one time someone said, I'm telling you my real name. And I was just like, oh, okay.
I'm going to hold on to that one.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's one of the tough things.
Right. Has your son said anything about like, what is that? Why are they doing that? How come? Or is it just something he's not recognizing?
No, we talk to him.
Okay.
So, you know, but like he'll like look, he's very, very observant. You know, he understands, and you know, he understands bad choices and different things. So we kind of just share with him. But he I mean he's seen it since the beginning. But it's not, we don't shelter him at all. We don't, you know, not from that. We don't shelter him, and but he's out there, and it's funny because some people, because they've come, you know, so much, wow, your son they know him.
Getting big.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, that's your son. He got so big. I remember when he was a baby, and you laugh, you're like, yeah. You do. Yeah, you do.
Hopefully, you don't see him when he's a man, because you gotta get off these streets. Yeah. But have you ever had an incident maybe where it was like, have you ever felt in danger down there? And that's not, I'm not coming at Kensington. Right. Because I know there's a lot of people who have loved ones down there, but let's be factual. Has there ever been a situation where you were like, oh man, I'm uncomfortable?
No. I mean, you know, we've had incidents where people, you know, would try and say something to my husband, but it wasn't anything like, you know, where I felt like we were in danger. Yeah, no. But the blessing is the police, they even know who we are. Okay. To the point where one time when we were doing our outreach, one of the drug dealers tried to come and blend in, and he was like, no, get away, you are not with them. So it's that they know who we are. Yes. You know, so there's that
that's comforting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And absolutely. How about I don't know if you've run into a problem, because I know people that live in Kensington and they're trying to raise their family there, and they're walking outside and they're seeing needles and they're seeing people. Because your outreach is for anyone and everyone. Right. Do you ever get any, I don't know what the word is, I'm drawing a blank. Does anyone ever complain and say that you're giving these things out, but you're in my neighborhood? Or are you kind of in an area where that's irrelevant?
Well, one time we had someone who was upset with us when we give out the dinners because they said that, I guess, someone didn't discard of the tray in the trash. And it was just
There's a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it kind of was just...
That's odd.
Yeah, you just look like, really, you're complaining about that as a...
Yeah.
So we just, you know, let her have her say, let her, and it's funny because one of the young ladies in the community, she actually defended us to her. She was like, you don't talk to them, like you don't come at them. They, and it's funny because they call us their pastors.
Oh, well, that's nice,
right? Yeah. And she's
nice.
like, that's my pastors. You don't do that. And it's nice because it's like, you know what, we like, you feel like we don't ever have to defend ourselves.
You got people defending you, and a strong, connected crew.
Yeah.
Are the same people that come for outreach and stuff? Are you seeing them also at church ever? Or
no.
Okay.
No. And it's we would love to.
Yeah.
But we're not that type of ministry because we've seen it, and that's something that my husband and I didn't want to do. We didn't want people to feel like you had to come to church in order to get stuff.
Okay. Right.
We feel like because of the love and how we just share with you that you would want to be compelled. Like there was a gentleman, he would always walk back and forth, and by us being out there, we know who to ask if they want something. We're like, not like we're like sizing people up, but we're like, okay, no. Yeah, no, we're not even gonna.
Right.
And it's not in a negative kind of way, but we would always be like, hey, how you doing? Always speak, never not speak to people. And over time, he would start to say hi to us. Over time, he would stop and be like, hey, yeah, until a point, my husband and him, they started to have a relationship where he would talk to him about what was going on with his wife. He would talk to him about he was like, can you come to my house and pray? So things like that. That's it would be nice for them to come to service and stuff, but
you can't.
But things like that is more impactful.
Absolutely. The coats and the this and the that. And you can, right then and there, I mean, that's what your mission is for the most part.
Yeah,
giving back.
Exactly.
And you're not doing it for anything in return.
Not at all.
And that's
Is
that hard? Is that hard to keep your operation up going? If it's obviously one where a lot of the times it's probably your time and your energy.
No, because one of the mottos that we have is love with no strings attached. So we just do it because that's what God told us to do.
Right.
And in the beginning, at first it was tough because it was just the three of us.
Yeah.
My husband, myself, and Nazir. Yeah. It was tough when.
What made you make the jump?
My husband always knew that he was supposed to start a church. Okay. So when the door opened, he was like, you ready? I was like, no, but okay. I'm with you. It was like, no, but I'm with you. And we would have service, and our congregation was our son and Elmo and Mickey and Mario. That's who we preached to. Right. That's who we taught Bible study to.
Right. You start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you just, if people want to come, they will come.
Yep.
Like if you build it, they will come. Like that movie with the baseball field.
Yeah.
But now how many people, not that numbers matter, but are you seeing a growth?
Yeah. We have a good sized congregation, everyone. And the funny thing is we're also a virtual church.
Oh, no way.
Like, so we were virtual before virtual was like the thing. Honestly, we have a member in Texas, we have a member in North Carolina, in Georgia. So we are, based internet.
You're gonna have to send me that link.
Okay, I definitely will.
Yeah, send me that.
Yeah.
Cause and then if you have any information on the outreach too. That's pretty cool. So people can like donate if
need
be.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the virtual part is nice of it.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And are you having any other people bring in children that are autistic?
We have not, but like so the other young lady, her son, he is 12, I think, 12 or 13. Yeah, around that time. And he was just recently diagnosed.
Okay.
But we would notice some things, but we would never say you need to. No, we would just how's he doing?
Yeah.
How's this? And because of relationship,
right,
we can be like, you know what? I think maybe. So we, right off the bat, we wouldn't have said anything.
Right.
But because of relationship and because we're involved in their lives,
you see him in different.
Right.
settings as well.
Right.
That's the same for all settings. Mm-hmm. Does your son have anything, like, other plans for him to join in a more, he seems very, very involved, but in the future, does he have any interest in a different role in the ministry that you guys have?
When he was younger, he said he wanted to be a pastor, but I don't think he wants to do that anymore. Well, he said he's the pastor over the paper people.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
that's right.
But he can sing.
Can he really? Oh,
yes, he can, and he does not like singing. I'm like, dude,
like gospel songs.
He can, yeah. I mean, he has a beautiful voice, like, and it's natural, and I'm just like, sometimes I just roll my eyes. I'm like, this is so not fair. Like, you just sing and.
He should come to the fashion show and sing "God Bless America" before it starts.
Oh wow!
How cool would that be?
Right?
That's next Saturday.
Oh wow!
It's at the Buck Hotel at 11 a.m.
Wow!
We always try to open it up with something, something fun.
But I mean, you know, we're the type, we don't want him to do anything he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and we feel that for all children. So, you know, we're like, okay, we encourage him. I know, like, even in school, he's doing something with, like, audio visual and TV. So I say, hey, Nazir, like, he, you know, starts our live stream and everything. So even things that he's learning, I'm like, all right, Nazir, so one of the things that you have to do is, you know, I'm like, you're a producer now. Give him those titles. I'm like, you got to make sure everyone's ready, letting them know. We're going to get ready to start. I said, because you don't want to start the live stream and mommy's still coming from the bathroom. I'm like, that doesn't, you know, look. So just explaining to him. So, you know, he's like, all right, everyone, we're going live. I'm like, okay, good job. Thank you. So that way we're ready. He's like, okay, action. So, yeah. So.
That's well worth it. That's a big enough role.
Totally.
That is big enough.
Totally.
That's so nice. That's sweet. That's good that you guys have that go. Do you have most of your friends from what you do, from church, or do you have like an autism community, or are you kind of one that doesn't seek out? There's some people that I've found that seek out strictly friends that have autistic children.
No,
I don't do that.
No, I don't do that. No. Yeah, we have a very variety. Variety. You have to.
Yes.
You have to, because that's even something that that I've learned. Yes, we, and even with, you know, talking with his teachers, yes, it's good for him to be in that safe AS class, that environment, but still, that's not reality for, you know. No. That's not. So even if he is, I think he is in some of the, you know, well, his school is, a lot of the children are IEP based.
Oh wow.
You know, they're not special needs, but
Is it public?
It is public.
Okay.
And
it's a good school?
Yes.
Do you mind saying it?
It's Strawberry Mansion High School.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, so when it was time for him to come for lottery for high school.
They have a lottery there too?
Well, not lottery, I'm sorry. It was no, that's for charter schools, I'm sorry. For high school, they have school selection.
Gotcha.
So they select what high school they want to go to. So his middle school teacher, he had the in, and he was like, all right, he was like, Miss Thompson, here's all the schools with the AS class. So I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, 1,000 kids? Nope.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, 500 kids? Nope. I was like, we can maybe do that. Strawberry Mansion, 250? I was like,
the whole school? What?
Yes. So I looked, and I was like, okay, and I was looking at it, I was like, arts, music. I was like, yes.
Well, what you just said, I was going to ask, you said in school, like audio type stuff. I was going to ask you if he goes to a tech school.
Yeah, no, they
that's what tech schools do.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, so he's I'm so fortunate that he's there, and teachers are great. And it's a small community. And I said that's exactly perfect, because if he went to a larger school, he probably would have got swallowed up.
Whether it be him being overwhelmed or him not standing out enough to be taught and grow, because that's what a lot of times happens. The kids not showing these extreme behaviors in those classrooms, so they're left to their own because they're fine.
Right.
They're
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you're like, yeah, but they still need to learn.
Yeah.
So that's. And how is his relationship with the other typically developing students? Good. Do you know if they have like any type of inclusive?
They have good relationships. You know, he always tells me like he has two, you know, particular friends that he always talks about. They always, you know, sitting together, eating lunch, and when they go on their CBI trips, they're always together. So.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Good, because I know that's hard.
Yeah.
I know that's really hard. My guys are having a hard time with that.
Yeah.
It's a shame. One doesn't care. One could care less. He's just fine with himself, his games, and his plushies. He's okay. And his twin brother. And then the other one, he's really looking for friends. And it was sad because he finally found a friend, and she's so sweet, so cute. Oh God, it makes my heart. He sent me a picture. It was them. It was a selfie. They were going to get Rita's. It was like the first time he ever went out with a friend. Wow. Then I dropped him off at her house. There was a couple of the girls that wanted to see him because Connor's here, and it was so sad because then the girl's mom actually passed away maybe the next weekend.
No.
It was so sad. It was just a very sudden thing, and I'm like, he was so upset for that reason, and then it hit him later on that like his only friend was moving.
Oh.
So he was like, "Do you think you can try and help me find new friends?" I'm like, "Ugh, yes," because you never prepare that that's gonna happen at 16 years old. So it's like it's a little difficult to maneuver what your son was at 3 to 5. What he was in public. Now he's in high school. Yeah. What's he going to do after high school? Yeah. So are you going to keep hitting Nazir, you said? Mm-hmm. Is he going to stay in there till, now they allow till 22?
Right. So that's something that we were talking about, you know, with his teachers, and they were like, honestly, we don't think he needs to stay that long. Like, so I know, I think they're saying there's some type of program with the school district.
Yeah. Like, I forget what it's called, Department of Education in general.
I can't remember what it's called, but like so he can like work there or do like some type of program. Even I think Drexel does something as well. So I'm gonna be looking into that because I don't think he
needs it.
No, I don't think he needs to.
And that's like I'm gonna make the same decision personally. I don't feel like it would. I feel like Real World would benefit more. Yeah. And working with me because I'm like you. I include the boys because I want them to see everything. And sometimes I feel like people think that that's me like giving them a one up. And it's not. Yeah. Because you sound like the same type of person where it's like, no, you have a job. If you don't want to do it, then you don't want to be a part of it. Yeah. And then we can find something else to do that's fine. Yeah. But it's so nice to show them and just feel like, all right, well, like this is your first intro into working. Yeah. Let's see how this goes for you. Because I don't know that, at least one of them I don't think would have like a typical, there's no 40-hour week jobs going on. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know if that'd be something he'd be interested in. Yeah.
I do know, when was it? Last week, I think they, on their CBI trip, they went to Walmart and they were like being like the shoppers. Oh, so they went and did like the scanning. Oh, cool. Nazir said he liked that. That's so cool. I take a mental note. I'm like, okay, let's think of that's a job that you could possibly do. But he was even saying, yeah, I don't think I want to go to college. I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I was like, but you're gonna get a job.
Something's happening.
You're gonna do something.
Yes.
So he understands that. Right. I'm like, okay, whether you go to a trade school, whether you don't go to school but you work, we're supportive.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got something going on in the future. No matter what it is, there's something going on. Yep. And how do you ever find that, like the son or the bonus son that lives in DC, is there any times where you feel that your son would want to connect with him for like boy stuff? Or is he too much older that it's not really relevant?
I mean,
he's got years, I guess, that he's able to relate
to. Yeah, they're kind of a lot alike, though. Yeah. The video games and...
What's he play? I meant to ask you.
He plays Wii Sports.
I'm always trying to hook my kids up with new people, but it's...
What else?
Pokemon. I don't know if your guy likes Pokemon.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, he... No, I think it's Wii Sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what I know it's Mario, Pokemon, Sonic.
They're okay, okay.
We're into.
Okay, I think he what is it? Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he does that. Okay.
On the Switch.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I had to think about it.
That's a fun one.
I had to think about it.
Now, is he going to what's 10th grade? Do they still do that?
No, he's in 11th.
Oh, he's 11th.
Yeah.
11th grade?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what's his birthday?
June 30th.
Okay.
So he'll be 17.
11th grade.
Yeah.
Is he planning on prom next year?
Yeah. So we were looking to have him go to junior prom this year, but there was like miscommunication. They didn't let us know anything because I think only a couple of juniors had expressed interest.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were gonna say they didn't say anything because he was in AS class.
No. Oh gosh, no. Oh, trust me, no.
Good.
No, it was more so there weren't a lot of juniors who had expressed interest. So
I feel like I feel like when I went to school, it was like the freshman dance, the soft hop, the junior prom, the senior prom, and now all I hear about is the senior prom, and that is it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's gonna want to go because and of course my husband, he was like, all right, we gotta get him. I'm like, calm down. He's like, we gotta get him all dripping, I'm like, are you reliving?
Yes. Of course.
So I'm like, all right, babe, you got a whole nother year to get his outfit together.
Yep. Get his outfit together. Get him a little date, even if he doesn't have a date. You still
go.
Oh,
we had a date for him.
Did you?
One of the young ladies in our church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she was nice. Like, okay, and because we had said to him, he was like, would you? He was like, yeah, I'll go with her. So we're like, okay.
I wonder has he ever had a girlfriend?
No, he's still at that.
Giggle
when you say a girl's name.
Does he show interest?
Oh yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he thinks girls are pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. Like so, if we'll mention like some of the female wrestlers, he'd be like,
oh my god.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, did he watch WrestleMania?
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, I had a brother and a sister that were on the weekend before WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
The woman wrote two children's book, and I had talked to her brother, and he said he was a huge wrestling fan. He goes, I'm going to WrestleMania this weekend. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, because I used to watch wrestling all the time. Oh my god, when I was little, you couldn't tell me nothing. It was real.
My dad used to take me to wrestling matches.
Oh yeah? Really? Yes. Okay, so you know all about it.
Yes.
The last 15 minutes of WrestleMania. Now, I'm going to dork out here so you can fast forward, but when it was like Undertaker, John Cena, The Rock.
Yeah.
Triple H maybe? I don't know who else was there. I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I was like, it's just the way it was played out. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Has he ever been?
No. And because we've talked to him about it. We think he would probably definitely be overstimulated.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people. My husband's like, and the people are cursing and drinking. He's like, no. So my son, he was like, Nazir was like, yeah, Dad, maybe we shouldn't go.
I'll watch it
with his deep voice.
Yeah.
But something that he also does, he has this, I think it's called Punch Hero. That's another game he plays. But he simulates with the paper people the wrestling match. Mm-hmm. And my husband created a ring for him.
Oh gosh. That's so. Does he make the paper people look like the wrestler? Not that. I mean, that's above and beyond. Even if it's a regular person.
Kind of like it goes with who it is. So, but now the thing is, so like for Roman Reigns, it's not Roman Reigns. I think it's called Titan Boy. And then so he has like names, and I'm sitting there like, wow, why do I know this?
I know. Yeah.
But he has like, and so he records it. He does, he records it and he puts it on his YouTube channel.
Does he really? Well, send me that too.
Yeah.
Because I want to watch that.
Okay.
Send me his YouTube.
Yeah, I will, and I'll send you. When was it? During the pandemic. Yes, we had a Paper People parade for Christmas, or was it Thanksgiving?
Did you really?
I can't remember. Yes.
How did that go?
So the first one was kind of like, because he told us like, oh, by the way, I'm doing it. So it was all right. But the next one, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we want Nazir to do a parade for the last day of school. Should have never told anything. Oh. It was like in our spare bedroom. It was like a whole stage production. My husband.
Oh my.
Like, you would have really thought.
And did he record it?
He recorded it. I will send you that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, he was like, all right, babe, here's the playlist. I'm like, excuse me? You need to get the Wii Sports Resort. You need to get this.
Oh my gosh. He had the whole thing.
He had the whole thing.
How long did it last?
It wasn't that long. Maybe 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
I mean, it wasn't like, so my husband, he like, it's so hysterical. He had like the whole, what do you call those things? The word is escaping me. But like, so he had the Wii Sports Resort, and then, pulling them, and then he like made stand. Oh my gosh, it's like a whole thing.
Does it take him a long time to do that, or is he so good at it that
it took him like a week, cause my husband, he was like, this has got to be right.
Your husband likes it more than him, huh? It's like the people that love those train sets.
Yes.
And they're like,
so he was like, all right, so we gotta tie this up. So we're like pulling it, and then so the funny thing is, it's so hysterical. So like his class, so it was like, because it was virtual.
Yeah.
So his class, I had them like in the computer, so they're watching it, and you can hear them commentating.
Oh my god.
And it's the funniest thing. They're like, wait a minute, is that? Oh my gosh! Oh, look at it!
Freaking out.
And then so the last thing is like the fire truck, and everyone's like, the fire truck! Here comes Santa Claus!
Oh my gosh. Does he paint it red? Like, did he make it red, or
no,
it was paper?
It's like stuff. Like, so he had an actual fire truck.
Oh, cool.
And then,
oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah, I'll send you. Like, it's hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's.
They didn't. I know my guys didn't mind COVID because of those types of things.
Yeah.
Because you were able to sit at home and just use your imagination, and that's that thing too with autistic people.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be, not so much anymore, but there used to be such a like stigma that they're black and white, they're literal, they have no imagination, they're not creative, and I'm like, what? Creativity is, you just got. I have this school in general. I have a little guy, just found out last weekend because mom had told me that he will draw animals but not lift up his pen. And I don't know if you've ever seen, his name's Trent. I think his drawing's by Trent.
Yeah.
And people will write in like, draw a zebra with a tiger, and he just doesn't pick up his pen and he draws this beautiful picture. Wow. Well, he was starting to do it. It was a manatee, a praying mantis, and he just goes like this, and it's done. I'm like, where did that come from?
Wow.
Then we had another little guy that would mold things, and he would mold like dinosaurs and things like that. And then, I think I've said it before, but he definitely molded a piece of poo. I don't know how that happens, but it happened. I think, mom may have told us that time got away from her.
Yeah.
But just my guys, they refinish, stain, and redo furniture from their tech school. Wow. So they learned how to do that, but the creativity is everywhere. Yeah. Even in absolutely. The play. Yes, it's non-functional. Mm-hmm. I can agree in some areas, but how do you know? How do you know what's going on up here?
Right.
Because if you see Nazir and he's at home and he's just playing with paper, he's at pre-K and he's just playing with paper. Mm-hmm. Someone could have said, if you were a different person,
right,
that's enough. You're making a mess. You're making a mess. That's enough. What is that? Yeah. And now it's to the point where he's like, here's my universe of paper.
People have like gotten him packs of paper for his birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Someone was like, oh, I saw some paper on sale, and here, this is for Nazir. I'm like,
I love it, but I can't.
Right, you're like,
I love it, but I can't.
I'm like, okay, thank you.
How about storage? Because for the twins, for the plushies, it's shelves. So we have to keep building them shelves and installing shelves. So how are you storing all these people? And does he ever notice if you throw one away?
Oh, he knows if someone. He's like, I can't find so and so.
Yeah. Yep. I bet.
I'm like, what does he look like?
Paper?
Yeah, right? Like, he was like, well, he's such and such. And I'm like,
nervous.
I'm like, not that I throw him away, but I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
Like,
check anywhere in this house it could be there.
Yeah. He's like, oh, here he is. Like, the only person who I know is Tyler, because Tyler used to work at Dunkin' Donuts. And I know this because whenever we would go to Dunkin' Donuts, Nazir would take Tyler out of his bag.
Oh. And he works there?
And he works there. But I don't...
Does he have Dunkin' Donuts apron?
Yes.
Stop it.
And I don't know what happened to Tyler.
Oh, he quit.
He
was a no-call, no-show.
Tyler is gone.
Yeah.
Like... Because I said, Nazir, what happened to Tyler? He was like, I was like, oh, okay.
He got sick and tired of his attitude.
Yeah.
Tyler needed to go elsewhere. That is amazing. And so he probably knows, like, all right, I could just picture, like, the brain, like, oh, yeah. I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. Where's Tyler? You're looking for, you put him in your pocket, like, total, like, you're so fulfilled and happy, their little hearts. It's like,
and then he's got, his church crew that come with him to church. Yeah, it's funny.
Very, very nice. Yeah. And so, I like to end with anything you want to, I don't want to say advertise, but if you could just tell us again, like, the outreach, the days, you can email or message me the details so I can put it on there.
Sure.
Just whoever watches, if you want to be a part of it in regard to, like, donating stuff, I'm sure that's never frowned upon. And just to get more information about what you do. But in general, is there any advice that you would give parents who are religious? They want to stay in the church, but they're finding that they're meeting opposition, I guess, because of their child.
Right.
Do you have any advice for people that are going through that?
I would probably say to connect with someone who may be able to express or talk to your leadership in from a professional standpoint.
And do you think pastors would do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If especially if you're sharing from a family point, and depending on what the mission is for that ministry, especially if it's family oriented, about the family. Okay, well, if you're about the family, here's a family that's feeling neglected. Yeah. So let's look into them, and not to necessarily have them come in and tell them what to do, but just say, hey, would you be open to this type of training or this type of workshop, this type of informational session, and then I think that would be good. Yeah. And now, because it's something that's so known, more pastors, more ministries are open to at least hear about it, listen,
and entertaining it to an extent.
Yeah.
Do you have, or do you welcome new members at any point? So anybody who's in that area, if you're in Kensington and you don't have a church, Sundays at what time?
10:30. And you see how I'm dressed?
Just like that.
My husband and I, we don't.
That contributes to the vibe.
To the community, because my husband he calls us among the wrestling, the street prophets, but he also says that we're like Joshua and Caleb, because we blend in, so nobody's really expecting. So then we're like, oh, let me get my pastor, and I'm like, you with the t-shirt and the hat to the back, you're the pastor.
That's humble.
Yeah.
Humble, and that's what you guys are. And just all-encompassing. That's what religion, Christianity, anyway, from what I know, it's what it's all about. Yeah. So, it's moments like them where you're like, man, I should get back to church. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's my fault. That's all on me. But thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Very nice to meet you.
Yes.
We will put all that information out there. I think it's a fantastic cause Thank you so much for being there to do it for people who don't want to. Yeah. Thank you for being in the position or the location that you're at, because even doing that is like, people turn their nose, people get disgusted, people
you gotta have a heart to do
that. You have to have a heart. So thankfully we have a couple hearts with you and your husband. Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you guys have any questions about her mission and the church, just message me and I will relay. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you.